December 11, 1931. A child is born in a quiet village of Kochwara, India. The stars whispered a strange prophecy. He would meet death every 7 years. But if he survived until 21, he would attain the consciousness of Buddha. And he did. On March 21st, 1953, at the age of 21, Chandramohan Jain became enlightened. He became Rajneesh. He became Osho. Born in a colonized, broken country, physically shackled, mentally caged, he didn't just fight for political freedom. He taught people how to be truly free. A philosopher, a professor, a man who read over 100,000 books, and yet knew that the truth cannot be found in words alone. He walked from village to village, pouring his energy into waking up a sleeping world. And that ate away at his own health. He didn't care for traditions, he shattered them. He didn't fear religion, he confronted it. And what he offered in return was raw truth. A rebel, a genius, a mystic, a lover, a guru. Osho. He devised over 100 meditation techniques to help ordinary people reach extraordinary states of being. And when he took this fire to the West, the most powerful government in the world tried to silence him. They failed. Because Osho was not just a man, he was a movement. This is a story of a man who refused to follow and instead led millions to themselves. This is Osho.
Baba, क्या हाल है?
Bas Baba.
It's been long.
It has been long.
It's
It has been long.
been long.
When was the last time we met each other? 3
Almost
weeks?
1.5
3
months
weeks.
before I went to India.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah.
So I've come
Man,
back
it's been
from
almost a month.
yeah. So I was in India almost for 10 days. Then after that, it's been almost 20 days. So almost.
How
a
was
month.
India?
It was good, wonderful as usual. Fun, chaos.
Yeah. In the middle, I also went to India.
Yeah, you were there. We were talking. No? So what did you do
Nothing, Baba. I just
in
wanted
this
to.
whole month? You recorded 2 episodes with Senia, I think. Yeah, and then what else?
So, between me going to India, meeting my parents, and then coming back and, getting busy in the day to day, I was constantly listening to Bhagwan Rajneesh, Baba Osho. I mean, I've told you so many times that his words are. I can't even give it a adjective. Like I can't even say that they're golden or they're precious or this that. They are more than that because they hit you in that part of your heart or your consciousness where they really jolt you. So I have been listening to him for a long time, as you know, right? And lately my connection with him became very strong.
Also, when you are having a very busy life and your day-to-day life is so busy, and still you find some time to listen to him, especially his old recordings of Hindi, it is really good. Like it puts you in some dimension where you forget about all your stresses. Like even just by listening him, you can feel the healing happening, or you are getting relaxed. Like before the podcast right now, I was kind of listening to him, yeah, because we thought we'll talk about him also. And I just listened for 10 minutes and I went to a nap. So you woke me up and you said, okay, let's record.
With him,
Yeah.
there are times when he's the only one who would make me cry.
Why crying?
just by listening to him.
Why? Have you thought about it?
Not so deeply, but his words hit you in places where I feel like he understands me. And this is a very cliched,
Yeah.
statement. Very cliche. Oh, he understands me. But I am coming from a very genuine space where I can say that even though he has spoken decades ago,
Yeah.
but his words resonate with me very strongly.
Yeah.
And when I listen to him at times, it feels as if he's talking about exactly what is happening in my life right now, right? And then automatically the tears come. Automatically.
So many people who listen to Osho, or who are listening to Osho, also the youngster these days, his many people are listening to him, especially his old talks when he used to talk about the all the aspects of life, starting from the emotions and how you relate with the life into your day-to-day life, because all those deep emotions which usually people don't talk about. Yeah, if they are like, unless they are sitting on a therapist, in front of a therapist, otherwise you don't talk about it. So when people listen to the Osho, and when he starts with one subject, but he also, when you listen to him, he'll keep on acknowledging that part of you. Yeah, you will feel that, oh yeah, I'm feeling that, all those emotions are being seen. Yeah. And when he talks about one thing, he'll talk about all the aspects of the mind and the psychology and your deep soul connections with your body, with your mind, and how your soul is connected with it. So when you listen to him, you feel heard. And he talks about that problem very, like, suppose he's talking about anger. So in anger, if you listen to him, he'll cover all other aspects also, how it impacts the your physicality, how it comes from your father or mother. He goes through that deep level, and then you feel that, oh yeah, this is my thing. So you feel seen. And your problem is everybody's problem. Like, remember, I think in one podcast we discussed that problems are same for everyone: anger, jealousy, childhood traumas. So everything is same. But when somebody is talking like that, and that's where you feel seen, oh yeah, he's acknowledging what I actually feel. And the deeper problem of every human being, a very common thread of problems of problem, is existential problem. Is everybody questions their own existence, why I am here. That there's a deeper question, why I am here, what is my purpose. So if you are a little bit of intelligence, if you are a little bit of awakening has happened in you, you deeply question. Those questions are always there: what is my purpose, what I am doing here. So any person who has started this kind of a search inside, if the search has awakened inside you to find the true meaning of life, and then when you are listening to a person like him, it hits that sweet spot inside you, and that's where you feel, oh my god, he's talking to me, because I am in a place where I am in a deep search of something, the search of a true meaning. Because once you experience this life, yeah, your job, your work, we experience relationships, everything, we experience friendship, money, and then still there is a deep question in everyone, that what is the meaning, why I am here.
So, Baba, if he was, and I have experienced it, right? If he was so brilliant, such a genius, who knew not just the ins and outs of Sanatan Dharma, but he knew the ins and outs of every religion out there, right? He's spoken about Buddhism, he's spoken about Sikhism, he's spoken about Islam, he's spoken about
Christianity.
Christianity in depth. A person who's read 100,000 books in his life has impacted so many people positively. Then why was he so controversial? Why? why does everyone try to paint him in a light where he's seen as a negative entity
Yeah,
when he's not?
yeah. What I feel is that there were two sets of people when it comes to Osho, because we are talking about him. So there were two sets of people. So there were people who will understand his teaching, who understood his teaching, and who were with him. Still, right now, also, if you meet, even in your friend circles, you will find two sets of people who are anti Osho, totally anti, totally negative. Like they don't even want to listen to his name. And there are people who are in deeply love with them. Yeah, so there are, you will not find people who are okay with Osho, a mediocre. Like, okay, I'm okay with him. No, no, no. You will either find people who are truly deeply in love with him, or who likes him, or who understands him, or you will find a range of people who are totally against him. And that's what he said, that I'm a controversial person, and either you are gonna hate me, or either you are gonna love me, but you cannot avoid me. So if a person who has not come into the knowledge that Osho, somebody like Osho is there, that's a very different thing. Somebody didn't know him. But anybody who knows his name, either hating him or either is in deep love with him. Yeah, and that's what he said in his all talks, that I will I will create the controversies, because if a person of that level definitely will become a controversial, because when he speaks on different topics, he's speaking so deeply. If he's speaking on Christianity, he spoke a lot in a deeper way, or he speaks on Hinduism, he speaks a lot, like he spoke so deeply with all the aspects. And you see, all these aspects are contradictory to each other, but when he's speaking on one subject, he's totally into it. So he's not saying this is good or this is bad. He's talking about that subject in so deeply that people start seeing that, oh, he's supporting that. Or like when he talks about Ram, or he talks about Krishna ji, or when he talked about Jesus Christ, so he spoke all about all of them, but he's not saying you become that. He said, I'm presenting you what they have gone through in their journey of enlightenment, or how they lived in this life. So he brought a very clear understanding of their journey. And then he said, I spoke about everyone. If you connect with Christ, you choose that path. If you connect with Buddha, if you connect with Mahavira, so you understand and you choose. But what happens? People see him as a controversial, that, oh, he's against something or he's for something. But actually, he was not, as far as I feel, he was not for anything. He was only for pure enlightenment. He was only for pure state of being. Also, he was a very rebellious person since childhood. Super rebellious person. So since before even he was age of 7, yeah, till the age of 7 he was staying with his maternal grandparents, yeah. And when he came back from there to his house, because his grandfather passed away, and when he saw his grandfather dying, that's where his inner search kind of began more, that he started questioning about death and mortality, and the, what do you call it, the temporary nature of the life. So all these questions have started. That's where his search began. And till the age of 7 he was such a free person, like, because his grandparents never stopped him. They didn't even put him to the school,
gave him all the freedom.
Gave him all the freedom, what the way a child should be. Like, they allowed him to blossom in all different ways. So after that, when he came back to his parents, so you can see from even from his childhood, he was very controversial with his own family. Yeah. Then with his in his village, then it went to the school, then it went to the universities. Like, if you listen all those stories from his childhood, then when he became enlightened, and when he started out in the world, when he went out in the world to serve or to teach people, then obviously there are bigger controversies happened.
He had a very questioning nature. He would
Since childhood.
since childhood. He would question everything, and he will not stop till he finds the answer.
Yeah.
No matter who he is talking to. I mean, we know that in his childhood, when he used to go to school, he would participate in debates.
Yes.
Right. He was an excellent orator. He would speak on topics for hours. But he also had this curiosity in him, where he would not just think about the, as a child, what are the things that you will think about? Playing, eating, mommy, daddy, friends, etc. But he was at that early age. He was not just thinking about these things. He was actually, like you said, he's thinking about death, and how it changes people. I know of this story when he was growing up. Actually, let me back up. When he was born, the seers
Yeah.
prophesied that every 7 years,
Yeah.
there are chances of him dying.
Yes.
Every 7 years.
Yes.
So at the age of 7, 14, and 21. And if he crosses the age of 21, the seers said that he will attain
The moksha, he
Buddha
become the
consciousness.
Buddha consciousness. Yeah.
Yes. And there's another story where he, at the age of 14, because he was taught, he was told that, the seers said these things. At the age of 14, he goes to a temple, sits there for a week, awaiting his death, and nothing happens.
Nothing happens. Yeah.
As he grows up, on the date that he becomes 21, 21st of March, I think 1953.
21st of March, 1953.
Yeah. Underneath a peepal tree?
Neem tree.
Underneath a neem tree.
So you know that story, yeah. So 7 days. So the number 7 was very. We are talking about numbers again, but yeah. So in the age of 7, yeah, when his grandfather passed away, that was also the interaction with the death.
Yes, when
So
he was 14, right?
No, when his grandfather passed away.
When was that? When he was...
Around 7, in the
Okay.
age of 7.
Age of
That's
7.
where when he passed away, that's where he came back to the parents in the age of
okay.
7. Yeah. Then in the age of 14, this incident happened at
Right.
the temple. Then in the age of 21, he attended his enlightenment. Yeah. And also the day when he got his enlightenment, yeah, on the night, that night when he explained fully from night 12 a.m. till morning 4 a.m., the whole incident, yeah. Before that 21st March, 7 days before, okay, he stopped his search. So he was in a continuous search since childhood. He was looking for answers in a deep answers of the life, deep questions, yeah, like death, immortality, what happens after that, what happens,
Purpose of life.
purpose of life, and all these things. And he was not he was not asking the mundane questions of the life, and he was not into it. Like he will not even do things which are mundane. Yeah, so he was into this deep search, and his ability, his question, when he was seeking this, yeah, that's why he read lots of book, because he wanted all the answers. So since childhood he was reading and reading and reading, but there was no answer. He still couldn't find the answer. So before 7 days, he stopped all his search. Like he was meditating for hours in a day. He will go to the trees, he will go to the rivers. He was doing a lot of practices also that time. But then when at one fine day he found that nothing is working. And then he also realized that I am not even searching in this birth. I'm searching for many, many births, and I still didn't found it. Like he was at the blink of that. Then he stopped searching for those 7 days. And that's where he became totally relaxed. Yeah, he says that I became hopeless. Like he even dropped the hope to find something, that he said, I don't know, I'm relaxed, I don't care anymore. So he said, I became hopeless, I became helpless. Okay, helpless when we say hopeless and helpless, this word sounds very negative, that I'm hopeless. No. He says that I lost the hope So with the hope, also hopelessness has gone. Because if you are hopeless, there is a hope inside you. Yeah, only a person who has a little hope can feel hopeless. Any person who has a little expectation of help from others can feel helpless. So he said that I was in a joy. I was so relaxed. My body has changed because he was so disciplined before that. He will follow the discipline just for this, that I to find the answers. But he says I dropped everything. I dropped all my, like I was a he was at the peak of his efforts. He put all the efforts and then he dropped everything. He said no. He relaxed. And he said he used to sleep. He said, I used to sleep around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the night. But after when I just drop all the efforts, my body started relaxing. And there is some, and this dropping the effort also was not his conscious decision. He said some energy took over me. And I started feeling this deep feeling that something is taking over. Some energy, some doors are opening up in my body, in my mind, in my psychology, that I just don't want to do anything. I don't need to do anything to find God or to understand the godliness, what he used to say, existence. So when this all these 7 days, his behavior has changed completely. He started sleeping. He said, I started feeling so sleepy. Like my body was so relaxed. I will feel like I want to sleep. I want to relax. I don't want to do anything. So he'll disappear from his room and even his roommate, and they will not find him anything. And then he understood that. He also said that that time I understood what Patanjali means, what is samadhi. Because samadhi is a deep state of relaxation, at the same time holding a higher awareness. So two poles, two opposite poles, but fully alert and fully relaxed at the same time. So that's why he said that in these 7 days I became totally null from inside. And this pull of nothingness, the gravity, it is gravitating me toward itself. It is pulling me. It is pulling all. And he said all those books which I read, all those knowledge, all those scriptures have become zero. Because I was so much connected with the life, the real life, that no book, no word, no knowledge was standing in front of them. So he was in deep connection with the life all those 7 days. And on the seventh day, he slept around, he said 8 o'clock, and around 12 o'clock, suddenly some energy came in, like he felt a lot of energy in the room. He was sleeping and he woke up and he said that I'm somewhere in a different dimension, that my body is totally relaxed. There is a light in the room and I feel so calm, so balanced. But he felt that everything is part of me. Everything is
Finally
just
awake.
part of me. And he said that I couldn't stay in the room. I felt so suffocating. Like he was not, like he felt that my body wants to go out open, because the sense of freedom is coming now. And he went out under the stars. He said, I just wanted to be here. Then he said, then he felt like going to that park where he used to meditate every day. So he went to the park, and inside the park, he saw this neem tree. This tree was calling him, I think. So this tree was calling him, and he sat. And because he was feeling so much of energy in the body. He said that I was feeling so powerful in my body, at the same time deeply relaxed, but I couldn't hold that energy, and I could see that everything has become part of me. Yeah. Then he said, I went under that tree, I sat, and then everything started becoming calm down. Then he started settling into that energy of awakening. Then everything started becoming clear. So it is so deep when you read that. But this whole experience, Then he said, I sat there for almost 3 hours, 4 hours, till morning 4 o'clock. And it said that those 4 hours felt like infinity. Like I was there in that dimension. So after that day, after that night, his perception of life has changed. The way he felt, he became the life. And he said that after that day, he never felt his body. Like every morning he will wake up and he'll say, "Oh, I'm still here. I should not be here," because he crossed the bridge, but the body was still there.
This was at the age of 21.
This was at the
Imagine.
age of 21.
Imagine. And then, of course, he pursued his studies still. He became a master in arts in
Yeah.
philosophy from University of Jabalpur, right?
Yeah.
And then during that, once he completed his masters, he became a professor there.
Yes.
And he was teaching. But also during that time, he then decided to go all over the country and spread the word of truth.
Yeah. But you know what? When he got enlightened in that way, he went back to his village because after enlightenment, he wanted to meet two people. You know that? No? He wanted
No.
to meet two people, only two people, because only he has, when it came to respect, he has a deep, deep respect only for two people in his life. One was his grandmother, because she gave him space to be himself since childhood. And there was other guy, he was Magga Baba. So Magga Baba, why Magga Baba? When he was 12, when he came back to his village, he came to know about this guy Magga Baba. He was a saint. So Magga means mug, the mug. So this guy used to hold, the only property this guy had is a mug.
Let's explain what mug is. It's a big plastic jug.
Jug. Yeah,
Right?
plastic jug, which is
Which in the villages in India,
in India.
People used to take
Shower or
bath.
yeah. So this guy was, his property was only that, a mug. That's why people used to call him Magga Baba.
That was
Mug
his
Baba.
only attachment,
Not attachment, only asset. Because,
only property.
yeah. And that is also, people will come and put money in it, and people will also take money out of it. So he was not bothered because he was in that zone of enlightenment. He was in that zone of oneness. He will not bother about these things. So he was in his village, and Osho, he was only impressed by this person. Like he will go and sit with him every evening, whenever he finds time. But it was so difficult for him to meet with him because this guy was always surrounded by people. Everybody will come and take the blessings. And in the night, say if I go there, he was surrounded by all the rickshaw drivers in India, because in the night they will still also, like he will sit in any rickshaw and he will go. So it was also difficult to find him. But he was connected with him deeply. He has this deep connection with this Magga Baba. And that's why after enlightenment, he wanted to go and see him because he saw truth in him. And Magga Baba is the person, when he saw him, he told him, because this guy has become, he has nothing. Yeah, no
Possessions.
property, no possession. He used to, under the roof of a shop or something, he used to sleep, and people will come only for his blessings. But he could not depart any knowledge. Yeah, he was in the deep state of oneness where he was, but he could not speak up. And it can be frustrating when you are in that zone and then sometimes you can't depart it.
Goddess Saraswati was not with him.
Then he told Osho that don't end up like me. Speak about it. Go to as many as people and talk about it. Spread what you are experiencing in whatever word we can. And Osho was a wonderful narrator. When he started
Excellent orator.
Excellent. So when he started talking about it, and I think nobody has explained the enlightenment or the deeper connection with the God or divine the way he spoke. Like he will talk about this, he will talk about the existence so much, the life, that you actually start feeling it when you listen to him. So Magga Baba has this contribution in his life where he told him, then go and speak, because if you don't speak, you will be totally sucked by this energy. This whole nothingness will pull you so down, too deep, that one day you will not even find words, even though you have read thousands of books. But those books will not help you because you will not be able to tell it. That's where he's. That's why he respected him so much.
So as Osho starts traveling within the country itself, within India,
Yeah.
from village to village he goes and starts spreading his word. Of course, he was such an amazing orator. He knew how to express his word, his feelings, his experiences. People start getting attracted to him, right?
Yes.
Everyone start getting.
Everyone.
People will, in an open space wherever he's sitting, they'll just come and sit in the number of thousands, right?
Yeah. Even the politicians.
Yes.
Business people. So
Yes.
everybody will come and listen to him.
Right. And eventually, so he stopped teaching as a professor and he started spreading the word fully, right?
Yeah.
And then he moves from Jabalpur, I think, to Mumbai first.
Yeah.
And then I understand that in Mumbai he had health issues due to some
Pollution.
due to pollution or
Yeah.
humidity, that he started facing some health issues, and from there he moved to Pune. But another thing is, and I need to highlight this very, very, very strongly here. In this age of social media, we're in 2025, right? We have so many mediums to spread the word.
Yes.
You have Instagram, YouTube, this, that, the other. No matter where you go, there's some or the other app where you can, sit in front of the camera and start talking. And still people struggle to find followers, right?
Yes.
That is the thing nowadays. Everyone wants followers.
Yeah.
We're talking about 1970s.
Yes.
This man is going from village to village with zero equipment, no video, only audio sometimes, not even audio sometimes. And people are coming from all over the world just to listen to him, just to find the truth, just to wake up.
But that's the energy, That's
There is something special, right? You cannot deny this. And that's why I'm a little heightened in emotion right now, because people try to degrade him, right? They try to pull him down. Yes, he's controversial, I understand that. But how can a person in that age attract so many people if he did not know the truth? Or he was not touching them in a way that no one else has previous to him.
Yeah. No, he had that energy. He had that aura in him. And also when he will, because now after that enlightenment thing, he will start seeing people so deeply, and he will know that deep down everybody has that deep seeking or longing to become complete. Yeah, but people are being settled down with small things. Okay, with a job, with money, with richness, which are okay, which fantastic. But still, the seeking doesn't stop even if you get all of these things. So he was pointing out that deep seeking and also he was pointing out that seeking part, and he's not telling you to become a monk. That's the fantastic thing about him, that he say you can stay in whatever way you are, and you can earn on whatever you are, and at the same time you can live life of awareness. So he's teaching us all about being aware. So become aware of in whatever way you are, whatever you are doing. So he was not life negative, he was life positive. He was telling you to get involved in the life as much as possible. Laughter, playfulness, happiness, joy. Yeah, don't be sad. Don't go towards the God being a sad person. Walk your way to the God as a person who laughs, who smiles. So that's why but he became controversial when he started becoming so much famous.
Also,
When
Baba,
people started coming to him.
because he was so nonchalant, right? He was also someone who would not shy away from saying whatever he wants to say, whatever is in his mind. He would not find different words to express his feelings. He would not stop himself. He would always want to tell the truth, right? And his biggest thing was that he was always behind everyone who was stuck in this whole circle of the religion, whatever they teach, the dogmas, and this, that, the other. He tried to show you that this is not the truth. If you really want to be free, you have to be free in every aspect. That's why he always said, and this is one of the controversies of him, that marriage is the biggest sham. He was against marriages.
Yeah.
Why would you want to tie yourself to one person in this life?
Yeah.
He was so against arranged marriages, right?
When he spoke about marriages, yeah, he always said that when you are getting married to someone in that way, he said that the marriage is happening with the intention of possession. So he was not in a way against the marriage, because there were times when people came and asked him that should I marry or should I not marry. Yeah, so one person came and asked him to marry, he said okay, go marry. One person asked him, he said don't get married. So that also makes him controversial, that at one point he said something, at another point he said something, but at both places he was right.
You have to look at the underlying
thing. Yeah, so he was always telling that once you are getting into a relationship or once you are meeting someone, then there is a deep desire immediately to possess, to own them. And the whole idea of marriage came out of that oh, now I'm tied to that person, now she cannot go anywhere, or now he cannot go anywhere, especially those times.
Right.
Now it's a very different story.
Right.
But when we are talking about those times, and he was also killing the dogmas,
Yes.
which are coming from
Ancient
say 100
times. Yeah.
or 200 or 300 or ancient times, and which people were still carrying.
Right.
So that's why
and maybe they don't apply to now, right?
They don't apply those. That's why when he was killing the dogmas of past. At the same time, he was talking to youth. He was talking to people, and that's why his talks make so much sense this time, because present youth can connect with him more than the people who were listening to him that time. So did you listen to him before? Now you are listening to him now, and you can connect with him that.
But Baba,
right
with
now.
me, like you always ask me, when
Yeah.
did the love happen?
Yeah.
My love happened quite a few years ago. But the love did not stop. It kept progressing. Like
Yeah.
the love kept increasing. As you start listening to him, right? Of course, in the beginning, you have this notion, because the world wants you to, have this picture of him, that he is quote unquote sex guru, right?
Yeah.
That is the picture that the world portrays of him. So when you hear of Osho and you've not heard him talking, your first picture in your head is, oh, this is some another run of the mill guru, cultish figure who is trying to promote sexuality and sex and this, that, the other, and I'd rather not listen to him and waste my time.
Yeah.
Right? And then you listen to just one talk, and then you're like, this guy's making sense. You listen to another one, and another one, and another one, and by the time you've heard like 10 talks, you're in love with them. Because yes, he is talking about sex, but he's not talking about sex in the way you are thinking about sex.
But I know people who will listen to Osho when they're alone. Suddenly, when somebody is coming, they'll stop
Oh wow.
listening to him, because many people listen to him when there's nobody around in that way, and it's not that they're listening to the sexual talk or no simple things, but the people used to have this fear of judgment. Oh, if I'm listening to Osho, maybe they will think that I'm crazy, or I'm only thinking about sex, or I'm only thinking about being part of his cult. So people used to have this fear of judgment or fear of being associated with him. But now actually people are coming and talking, even on Instagram, YouTube, youngsters are coming, and because now even his talks or even his books are more with the social media, and especially after this wild country, people got more interested in him, and now they go and listen to him. So once you listen to him, most of the people in the Bollywood, they go to his ashram, they read his book. So many people have posted and spoken publicly, that how they are, how their life has changed when they listen to him. So
There is no doubt that Rajneesh, Bhagwan Rajneesh, Acharya Rajneesh, Osho, whatever you want to call him, was absolutely gifted. There's no doubt.
yes,
But another contribution of his that cannot be denied is that he showed people different ways, unique ways of meditating. And I know you have inculcated some of those aspects in some of your sessions as well. We've done those meditation techniques in some of your sessions in the past, and those are the things that we want to put some light on as well.
yes.
Would you want to talk about dynamic meditation specifically and how it is different from other meditation techniques, which is something that he specifically developed?
When he was when he spoke about dynamic, I don't, as much as I know, I'll talk about that. Yeah, when he was always, he was not worried about the past. He was always thinking about the current situation, people. His interest was in person, the people, how to bring them into the state of oneness, enlightenment, or how to make them awaken. So he was interested in awakening. That's what he used to tell, that when people will talk to him, what is the difference between you and me? And his clear answer would be, I'm awake and you are asleep. So he wanted to make people awaken, in which so many people are being awakened now. This time is changing. So that's why so many people will be able to relate with him in that way. But he knew that the modern man cannot think about awakening. Awakening is too far, dream. When people are only struggling with their day-to-day life mundane things, their job, their families, the people are struggling and people are so stressed. The modern man is so stressed. Their body is full of anxiety, their mind is full of thoughts, people can't sleep. So when your body is heavy and your body is so tense, there is no way you can talk to a person and tell him to go and sit and meditate like a Buddha. Close your eyes, yeah, find a lotus posture and do a meditation. No, nobody will be able to do that. If your body is so much tension, if your mind is worried, you cannot do that. Also, if you have so many traumas from your past or the childhood, if your body is carrying that, there is no way a person can sit like that. Previous time, 100, 200, 300 years before when the life was not that difficult, it was easy for people to do the meditations like mindfulness, to sit and close their eyes and meditate, because lifestyle was still simple, especially in the villages, and they used to do lots of body work. Their body was moving a lot. They were using their mind, but also they were using, people were farmers and people will to walk a lot. There were no cars, there was no gadgets. So it was easy for people to adopt a process of meditation which is simple, which has no, we can just sit and close your eyes, and you can slowly develop the practice of meditation like Zen meditation, mindfulness, Buddhist meditation. But he knew that the need of the modern time, until a person is so relaxed, until a person releases his traumas, if you are not free of them, the meditation is not going to happen. That's why he brought this way of dynamic meditation, which involves a lots of movement. And when you move and when you shout and when you release, because there was no culture of therapy before much, and especially a country like in our countries, people don't talk about their emotions much, even in the families, and they're not open. So the best way to release those things is move your body, shake it, shout it out. So that's where the idea of movement came, when he involved the process which are when you move your body, when you shake your, that's why it is called dynamic. There is a dynamic movement. And then you rest. Yeah. So the deeper movement leads to the deeper stillness. You cannot find stillness if you don't move. And then deeper stillness will also help you to move deeply in your day-to-day life. So you start with the movement, you go to the stillness, then you leave the room and go to your day-to-day life. You move again. So if you keep on doing that thing, if you keep on, one time will come that your body is free of this dramas and stresses and anxieties and memories, and then you are able to sit and meditate. That's why dynamic meditation, that's why kundalini meditation, a lot of kundalini meditation is also deep shaking of the body. Then he has Nad Brahma, then he has Sufi meditations, which are, then he has other meditation which are more calming in the nature. So you choose. He has so many meditation, 112 methods of the meditation. So you choose what suits you. But dynamic meditation got more light because it fits in the current scenario where people need movement. So yeah, that's why the dynamic meditation.
No, thank you for putting that more light into the topic,
Yeah.
Baba, because a lot of people don't know that he was the modern day spiritual scientist.
Yes.
He, because he did such a deep study of not just spirituality but also religion, of also psychology, etc., etc. He knew exactly how to bring all of those things together to make something new for the modern man.
You cannot create something like that until you have the full
Deep
knowledge
knowledge.
of the body, of the psychology, of the energy centers in the body, yeah, also of the series of traumas people live with, and also the knowledge of the spirituality. So you should know, and the way Osho spoke about the chakras, the energy centers, no master has spoken. I have heard to so many people about the knowledge of the chakras and energy centers, but the way he put lights on all these subjects, it's amazing.
Reading about him and listening to different talks about him, listening to his biography on YouTube. There are certain words that come to my mind when I think about Osho. He wanted people to wake up. Yes. He wanted people to live in awareness all the time. And he also wanted people to find their own way.
Yeah.
That way could be anything, but find their own way, not to copy paste.
He was always telling people, don't follow me. So he's like, I'm encyclopedia. That's the right word?
Yeah. Like,
okay, I'm an encyclopedia. I'm here and information. I have all the information, and everything is, every scriptures I'm talking about, I'm giving you clarity on so many subject. He spoke on Ashtavakra Gita, the most difficult scripture to understand, to decode all these things. He spoke on so many difficult subjects, and then he said, I spoke, and now you choose wherever you fit. And also I'm giving you so many methods of meditation, you choose, and then you are also free of me. I am not like you are not my follower, or you are not, you are just free. You choose the method and the method will work for you. That is as simple as that. So if you are a Hindu, or if you are a Christian, or if you want to, if you are a Jain, or so whatever way, in whatever box you think that you can fit more, just go to that. But eventually the whole idea is to become awake. So you want to follow Mahavira's path, or you want to follow Buddha's path, or you want to follow Christ's path, or you want to follow any other guru's path, okay, but get awakened. And he also said that do not copy these people also. Like he said that they have given the path, because they have walked on the path, but you also have to walk the path. You cannot just copy what they are doing and you just keep on doing the same thing. It's not going to work on you. Yeah, if Bhagwan Mahavira is eating before sunset, and you just start copying him and eating, so that will not make you enlightened. That will give you some kind of discipline for your life. Maybe it is good for your health, but it has nothing to do with becoming enlightened. So he was telling people that what deep down all these saints, all these masters have found, and then even and they were awakened to the truth of them. So you also need to be awakened of your own truth, and the expression you will give after the awakening will be so different,
Unique.
very unique, because every person is unique.
Right. Now, when a person is trying to awaken you and is always constantly telling you to be absolutely free, right? He wants you to be absolutely free. Then how can he be a cult leader? The main part of any cult, you pick up any cult in this world, the biggest, the main principle of a cult is control. One person or a group of people trying to control masses, right? Trying to make them do some specific things in the way they want them to do it.
Yeah.
Make them eat a specific, diet. Make them wear specific things, Make them do specific things so that they can follow what these few leaders are trying to do. That is what a cult is. When Osho is trying to make you free, right? Because all the ones that I've heard, right? All of his talks are all about setting one person free. Then how can he be a cult leader? In his name, I feel like a lot of wrong has happened. And maybe, he was not aware what was happening. And Ma Sheila's name comes very often because she's the one who tried to, take control of that commune in US. We all know that story. I don't want to go into that story at all because I don't want to give more light to that story. But what I want to try to put light on is that this man, with all his wisdom, with all his knowledge, with all the good that he was trying to do, was misunderstood during that time. And he was called different names when he should not have been.
Yeah.
He will always, no matter who is in power, no matter who is out there, he will always say the truth. Even if that meant that he has to either leave a country, leave a specific place, maybe, some kind of action is taken against him, he has to go to prison. Like, if you look at all of these things, you will never say that this guy is a cult leader, this, that, the other. He's actually fighting for your freedom by going to prison, right? And Richard Nixon, who was the president at that time in US, he was so baffled by this person's presence, Osho's presence, that, even when he would go to a court or was in prison, people would be showering,
Flowers.
flower petals on him, will be, chanting in praise when he would go to court. So he was so baffled. How can, a person who he thinks is a cult leader is actually garnering so much respect from so many people? And that's why I think he was not kept in prison in US. Instead, he was sent back to India. I feel like we need to understand that. A lot had happened to him when he was in US, right? When he obviously escaped from India because of the prosecutions that was happening against him. He went to US. He started a commune with the help from a lot of people from US itself. And then he went into, in Hindi we call it Mann. In English we call it
Silence.
silence. Period of silence for 3 years, I believe.
3.5 years.
Three and a half years. What happened there? What do you think happened there? And because he was not speaking and others were taking advantage of him not speaking, not engaging, whatever happened in US happened because of that. And there's a central figure that comes into this, which is Ma Sheila.
Yes.
And because of her, all of those wrong deeds that happened in his name, but it was actually her who was, organizing those absolutely atrocious things happened.
It was a city in US. Yeah.
Yes.
So there were two cities on his name. One is the Rajnishpuram, and they also started another city called City of the Osho something. So there were two cities but this Rajnishpuram itself was 64,000 acre,
Yes.
which was bigger than the capital of the US that time. So you can see that once you, and also it was becoming like its own city. They have their own school, they have their own hospitals.
Yes.
So you can imagine that a person who is coming from a far land, India,
Foreign land. Yes.
and he comes and he starts his own setup here, and he's going to become bigger than you. Yeah, just imagine if somebody comes from any other country in our cities in India and he becomes so big. Yeah, there will be definitely an envy in local people.
Absolutely.
Local
And there's
powers.
there's some kind of power struggle. Yes.
Power struggle. Yeah, so it all was going that side, and there are many reasons. Like there are many people who are not happy with this and they were upset. So and also then when he was in silence, then what happened with Sheila? Yeah,
She tried to take control. She tried to
take
control all the people who were there. Yeah.
And it was like a city. It was like a city. There were elections happening. So she was also involved in the local elections. And that's why she was in jail for 3.5 years. Osho was sent back, but she was still in the jail. Because she also tried to manipulate the election. So there is, we can talk about it in a detail. Yeah.
Yes,
but
we would. I would love to talk
Yeah.
about this in detail in a separate episode.
In a
because
separate episode,
I
yeah.
believe this topic needs
So we don't want to bring that energy into this topic.
not just that,
into
but this
subject,
topic I believe needs more research,
Yeah.
a more nuanced, subtle approach, right? Because we want to not just talk about yes his controversies and yes his his struggles with powerful people, but also why that happened. It is very important to understand the why behind all of those things.
Yeah.
And that maybe today might be too much because emotionally also we are heightened, right?
Yeah.
And talking about those things might not be the right thing right now. So I would love to talk about that with you, Baba, in a following episode, but that needs way more detail than we currently have. Yes.
No, yes. We'll get more knowledge about it. We already have some, but it's better to come with
Yes.
a bit wisdom.
Substantial information. Yes.
Information. But when you talk about his silence period, yeah. So you see, the whole journey is the journey of the compassion. The guy was operating from the energy of compassion. What is the need of when you are in that zone of enlightenment and when you found everything, then he wanted to come and make people aware of it. So it comes out of compassion that once you experience this amazing thing inside you, you wanted to share it with people. You wanted other people also to get that. And he tried a lot. And he spoke for like almost 30 years, 20 years, 25 to 30 years. He keep on speaking, and he spoke on every subject. And after that, he went to a period of silence because he also started realizing that no matter, he is spoken on every subject, like under the star, whatever the subjects were. And then he realized that I've spoken so much. And there are so many people around me who are with me only for my words. Because he was mesmerizing when he speaks, and so many people were around him only because he was speaking very well and he was talking well. So that's where he decided that I want to stop it, which again goes back to the Magga Baba's thing when he told him to talk. But then he also realized that why he was quiet, because there is no way to depart that knowledge. So he went quiet, and it helped him in that. First of all, it cleared the people. Like people who
Cleared
are
the
around,
noise.
it cleared the noise, that people who are around him only for the words, they left. And the real people who were really in love with him, or the people who were really who really understood this whole process of awakening and who truly wanted to be in the light, they stayed. So
Right.
even talking was an act of compassion.
Not
Even
talking.
and even not talking was also an act of compassion.
Right.
So he spoke for many years is out of kindness, compassion, out of love. And again when he stopped, out of love. Then he came back again and he spoke, and so all those things have become more clear when he started talking about his side of the story. But there are amazing stories of his childhood, and there are amazing stories of when he was in university. There's so much
To talk
to
about.
talk about. Like it's just as an for us also to understand him more,
Yeah.
because it would be nice.
The reason for today's podcast was to really put light on the man himself.
Yeah.
His his life, his early life as a child, his accomplishments, all that he's done as a, not just a, well, you can call him a guru, a spiritual leader, teacher, but also as a compassionate human being who found something, through his experiences and wanted to share that with
Yeah.
everyone.
Everyone.
He was not the devil that people try to portray him as. He was not an evil man.
Yeah.
He was actually a very learned genius who wanted to share his genius with you. And like like it happens with everyone, right? It happened with Jesus Christ, it
Exactly.
happened with Buddha, it
Buddha,
happened with everyone
Mahavira. Yeah.
who tried to bring the light to people, but people didn't understand them and they prosecuted them. And yeah, the same happened with Osho, just that because he was living in a modern time, he was not hung up on a crucifix, but he was tried. People were sent after him. He had to go from one place to the other
So
in
he
his old
traveled
age.
21 countries in 6 months.
Yeah, he had to do that.
Yeah.
So all of that happened. But what we wanted to show in this podcast, and thank you for sharing your knowledge, Baba, was to show that Osho was the biggest spiritual leader of our time.
And also, I always say that the people will come and go. Osho was also a human body. He will come and go. And many teachers came and left. But the wisdom they left is the mark of them. Yeah. So this person, if you go and read his talks, like if you listen to him and if you do go and read his books, and if you start understanding a bit more, that would be the pure. Then you can judge by yourself. Just by watching a documentary, or just by watching a small clips on the YouTube, or just by listening to the people who didn't even know about him. And I'm not talking about only Osho, I'm talking about every person, even a celebrity you talk about. Go and listen, go and do your research. So if it is touching your heart, and if it is opening up something deep inside you, and if it is calling your soul, why not? Yeah, I always tell people that don't go for teachers, go for teachings in every aspect. So go for teaching, give it a chance, maybe, do some meditation and see if it really helps you. And then because if just a teacher and they don't have any kind of teaching, there is no point. But if the teachings are great, if they are working, then you can always be grateful for the teacher.
Right.
So if you really want to understand him, or even if people don't want to understand him, that is totally okay, because he himself never cared about it. When he was there, he said, "This I don't care." Yeah. Like when someone asked me that what do you want to leave as your legacy, or what would be your last message to the world on, and he said nothing. I'm done with you guys. I have said, I have spoken a lot, I've given all the tools, meditation, talks. That's enough, and I'm free now. I've always been free, and I'm free. So he was not here to impress people. even through his words or teaching. And whenever he was speaking also, he said that I just come every morning, I sing my song, and if you want to listen, you listen. If you don't want to listen, that's on you.
Wow.
So he was free at the deep level, and he just wanted to depart. Just wanted to express that freedom, and if anybody can get the benefit from it, you can get. And if not, it's a journey of everyone. There is no good, no bad. There is no one path. There are thousands of paths. There are millions of teachers. So as they say, if the God is infinite, there are infinite ways to reach him.
Wow.
So we choose our path.
Right.
Yeah.
So on that note, I think we will wrap up for today.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Baba.
Thank you, Baba.
Thank you, everyone.
Namaste. Thank you.